Hello. So I wanted to make a video about a theme that's been coming up for me on triggers. Favorite word recently. Everybody's pointing fingers at each other. You're triggered. Easily triggered. So what are triggers and what can we do about our triggers or somebody else's? So this theme has been coming up. Well, we all have triggers, right? So it's actually always coming up for us. But I've been kind of resolving my own this week. If you can see the dark circles under my eyes, partially as a result of resolving or working on resolving one of my biggest triggers. And how do you know that you're triggered and what can you do about it? So one way I sense when I'm triggered is, well, you just feel it in the body. And sometimes the trigger is, you get triggered and you kind of, oh, I don't want to go in that direction at all. Or you get triggered and you actually spend a lot of time in that direction. So I'll just share a personal example. I came across on YouTube, like a YouTube personality, or well, rather somebody who's been posting a lot of videos on YouTube. And there are certain qualities about this person that seems to be triggering me. And what I do to kind of figure out like what's bothering me, why am I keep feeling this, I use kind of a bubble diagram here. So I put the issue in the middle, and then just like anything, any kind of issue we have usually is connected to other things. So it's never just like one issue, because our mind works through associations. It works with memories, it works with concepts. And so when I put the issue in the middle, I start coming up with, well, what's connected to this issue? And then each one, what else is connected to that individual issue? And sometimes it can grow even bigger. See, like it just keeps growing and growing. Sometimes, you know, if I had a bigger page, I would make connections to these bubbles around here as well. So when somebody is triggered, you can see how much shit is underneath that little trigger. And it can be even more than that. So that's why a trigger is so intense. That's why people can react very strongly or just put up a wall to protect themselves. Because in that split second, all of this shit comes up. And most people don't have a way to deal with that. They don't know how to. I've been doing this for years, these bubbles. Look, here's just one this is one of my journals. I have maybe like 10 over the years. And sometimes I make like lists, you know, number like what is bothering me, and I just list it. Sorry. Just to show you, here's another bubble that I did maybe a month ago. And then there's just, it goes on, and other journals have it. This is just one of the ways I like to work through my own triggers. So this particular incident or instance, when I'm figuring out is my own insecurities about relationships is being triggered, because this guy is very charming, he's very cute, he's very popular. And these are kind of things that really trigger me, because I've always been like very introverted and I always had a hard time socializing, a hard time having friends, a hard time belonging somewhere. So I could watch like many personalities on YouTube, and a particular person would trigger me. There might be something like in the past life, our souls, like, yeah, there's that. But for the purposes of this lifetime, I just kind of focus what is being triggered right now. What emotions, what feelings, what thoughts are constantly turning in my head. Again, I'm just being fully transparent and honest here, and I think it's just this video is just to express, and if it benefits someone. So if I'm not fully transparent, then how can I benefit myself and somebody else? I start having fantasies. Those fantasies come out from the fears and the insecurities. Like, hypothetically, if I was with this person, how would it go? What kind of issues would come up? And I kind of have these fantasies, and like I'm working through these issues because those are the issues that are still bothering me. Like, for example, having a big wedding. That's one of my pains. Like, because of how my family is, I can't have a big wedding. A lot of people out there can enjoy having a big wedding, have all their friends there, have all their family, and everything is just going to be fun. If I try having even a medium size or small size wedding, a wedding period, it would be destroyed. I would be brought to tears. And so when I watch somebody on YouTube, like I even like intentionally watched YouTube videos of other people getting married, like people post their own weddings on YouTube. He had a few weddings in his channel because he's an entertainer. So I would watch that, and that would trigger me, of course, and I would cry. But it's like, now that I know, I intentionally seek out the triggers to process them. When people are not aware of their triggers, they can levitate towards them, and they can get triggered without actually processing it. So there's a difference here where we subconsciously levitate towards those painful moments, those painful triggers, because, well, we levitate towards it to learn. But if you're not aware of your own triggers, you're not going to learn. You're just going to react. So now that I'm learning about all my triggers, I intentionally put myself in a situation or a position that will trigger me, and not just work through it. I allow myself to cry, write about it, because it's in my best interest to work through them. I don't want to keep feeling like I'm not good enough. I don't want to keep feeling, that I can't find love, just because my family is a certain way or because I'm awkward. That doesn't mean that I can't find love. I just have a program in my head that developed over the years, and that program is in there like tight. So I gotta work it out. I gotta release it. I gotta remove it, and it's gonna take time. So now I go towards the triggers. Now the trigger is where if something is hard, like I had a student today, and he got triggered. There's a word, and I was pushing. He has like, he's 4. So some of these kids, especially depending on their upbringing, they're very like trying to dominate. And you can hear the mother is always like asking the kid if he can do something instead of like telling him to do it. It makes a big difference, right? So this kiddo is kind of used to being in control. He's the only child. He dominates, and he's trying to dominate me in the session. And I'm the teacher. So he got triggered, and by a word, like, no, I can't say it. And I know he can. And we talk with the parents, like that's because if we let go, it's like if you have a belief that I can't do it, and if you don't push yourself a little bit to overcome it, then it's always going to be, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can do it. I can't do it. And it's just going to grow. So it's not, the issue is not that he can't say the word, it's that he got triggered because he already has a belief at the age of 4, he can't do it. Like he always says, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't want to do that. That's going to grow. So I think a lot of times it grows into adulthood and people avoid certain things, run away from things. And what's interestingly enough, from what I've seen from my experience and I've heard from others, when we are pushing ourselves, like, like I moved overseas, right? Thinking, oh, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, or just living on my own, because in my culture, that's not really done for, especially by a girl, to live on her own. I was thinking, well, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone here, right? I'm growing. In reality, it's actually running away from the thing that actually was triggering me. So, it's triggers can be so many different things. Sometimes we keep going towards the trigger until it just kind of punches us in the face. Sometimes we run away from it. Sometimes we're convinced that we are overcoming it, but we're not. So it's very tricky. I think the only way to actually resolve a trigger is to sit with it, do some kind of list, maybe write a list, maybe do a diagram, whatever helps you to sit with it and go through the emotions to let it out. I mean, I was crying yesterday, and you can see my dark circles. I mean, whatever is being triggered is not something small right now. It's like this, it's being like lifted out of my body and my muscles. I can feel like I'm not actually actively tensing my muscles, but they're still tight. And I think it was because the amount of pain that was surging through my body to release everything, like the body was just like, oh, it's so hard. I did it. I mean, I was tensing up so much, I didn't realize how much I was tensing up my right foot. And for 3 days, it was so overly, I guess the spasm was so tight that it hurt so much. I had trouble walking on that foot for 3 days. And then last night, I finally started letting go, like crying it out. This morning I woke up and I was barely in pain anymore. Like I literally could not walk on the foot yesterday. And today I'm walking. Let go, right? So yeah, it's a lot of work. But I think that's the only way to resolve a trigger, or to help somebody to resolve their trigger. And we have so many of them. Yeah, so it's like one at a time. You just got to do the work. It just, that's I think that's the only way.